Welcome to the Pursuit of Excellence, the official voice of the Douglas County School System. We're committed to bringing you news, information, and resources about our schools. If you're a parent, guardian, student, fellow educator, or a valued member of our community, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Portia Lake, Douglas County School System's Director of Public Information. Today, we are sharing information about Douglas County High School's IB program. Today, we are joined by Principal Andre Weaver and Assistant Principal Grant Fossum, both of Douglas County High School. And today, we're going to talk about the IB program that's over there at Douglas County High School. Welcome, Principal Weaver, to the program. Why don't you tell us what IB is all about?
Well, IB is about several things. One thing, of course, it is the most rigorous academic high school program in the world, but it is also an opportunity to take students of diverse backgrounds and put them in what we would consider a cohort. So they take the majority of their classes together and they go through high school with that same group. I have the luxury to have Dr. Fossum as my assistant principal, but also he is the IB coordinator, but he's also was a teacher in the IB program. So he will be able to tell you from a teacher perspective and from a coordinator perspective what the IB program is.
And why don't you open up, Mr. Fossum, by telling us what IB stands for?
Absolutely. IB stands for International Baccalaureate, and it's really kind of interesting. We say it all the time, but because we've abbreviated it, I know when I came in as a teacher in 2011 to Douglas County High School, I kept saying IB, and I was probably there 2 years before I kept realizing that international part was so important. And it's really what makes the whole program stand out is that it is an international program. It started in the 1960s, and it really started for the sons of diplomats. They were trying to do something consistent because they were always moving, and it started with like 100 kids. And now there are about 1.3 million IB diploma recipients in the world in over 140 countries. And in all of those countries, they are getting the same high level of rigor. So not only does when we have someone who graduates from Douglas County High School, we know that they can go anywhere in the greater Atlanta area when someone goes, man, that was a good high school. When they have an IB diploma, we're saying you can go anywhere in the world, and they go, you were IB? Oh, wow, that is fantastic. I know what you had to go through. I know what that program is because it looks the same in every single place in the world, the requirements. It's a comprehensive program, which is very unusual in the sense that our students don't have as much pick and choose. They're going to do all 6 subjects through the program. They have their mathematics, they have their science, they have their literature, they have a foreign language, and then they have their history, and then they get to pick one other thing that we give them some choices on. Then in addition to that, they have what's called creativity, action, and service. So they are required to be active in some way and document it, to show their creativity side, not just academics. And then also they are expected to serve and give back to their community. And then finally, they're required to do a 4,000-word essay, which they all love. And they take another class that is, of course, one of the most attractive parts of our program to a lot of students about theory of knowledge. And when you say these terms, and I know I went through a lot of them fast, but I think when you ask what IB is, what the great thing is, to someone who's in those circles, in the academic circles, in the colleges, and says they know exactly what they mean. All those things they know the students did immediately, and it's fantastic.
Okay. And Principal Weaver, I know this is a very popular program. I know a lot of students want to know more about it. Why do you think it is so popular? What value do you think it offers those who are college bound or maybe career bound?
Well, like I said before, it is like Dr. Foster said, it's a comprehensive program, but not only does it prepare students for high school, it's a rigorous program that they're really doing collegiate work in high school. So when they get to college, it's like, I already know how to write. I already know how to study. I've already taken, higher level math, higher level Spanish, higher level French. I've already done some of the things that freshmen and sophomores are already doing. And if you do get the IB diploma, most likely you're going into college as almost a sophomore. But if you don't get the IB diploma, you still go to college and you still are prepared for whatever they're going to throw at you, whatever college you go to. But not only that, I know some people say that IB is just straight academics. There's no room for a life. There's no room for you to have fun while you're in high school. But that's just not true. all of our IB students not only strive hard in the classroom, but they contribute so much to our school, so much so that we have so many clubs and organizations that many students at our schools have created. When I first became principal 5 years ago, we had about 30 clubs and organizations. We now have over 60 clubs and organizations. They participate in athletics. They participate in organizations. We just had the class of 1979 there today, and the 2 students who are our ambassadors for the day were 2 IB students. So they contribute to our school wholeheartedly, and they make it their own. Even if they were supposed to go to another high school, that is their school, and they are ingrained within our school. So it's not just, oh, they're IB, it is they're DCHS students.
So they're a family.
It is definitely a family.
Okay. Now, we've talked about the quality of the instruction and the depth of the program. What about the instructors? Who is leading these classes? What type of background do they have?
It's a really great question. You know, we have several great instructors, in addition to having to be certified in their field. Just like any other high school history teacher, they still have to have that certification. All of our teachers also go to IB training, which is a 3-day, very intensive training that talks about best teaching methods that have been proven over 60 years, and then they're expected to deliver it. We're also evaluated by the International Baccalaureate organization every 5 years. We just went through our last one, and we're happy to say we got a glowing report about how we're doing, but we are accountable to them, and that part of that is the instructors. Are they teaching with fidelity? Are they teaching the IB methods and so forth like that? They are having to learn. Mr. Weaver mentioned that it is a collegiate level. That's a fine balance. You have high school students involved in everything, in the sun, band, fine arts, everything. Glad to be at DCHS, and then they're also in this really rigorous program. And so we have instructors that have learned how to balance that, to challenge them while still being realistic and getting them. And of course, as Mr. Weaver said, for the past years, I think 100% of our kids every year has gotten some college credit from it.
And you mentioned we were talking about the quality of the instructors. Why don't you tell our audience about your background? Because, you started as an instructor, and your history as your relationship to the star student.
Oh,
so before he starts, I would just like to say we're not outside of the district searching for teachers to be a part of the IB program. We sometimes find teachers, the majority of the time, we find teachers in our school system or actually in Douglas County High School that transition over from one classroom to the IB classroom. And that's how Dr. Fossum came to us from another school in the district.
Yes, really?
Yes, absolutely. It ended out, I was so nervous to come to high school, but I was teaching in middle school here, and I actually taught gifted math at the time. Loved Douglas County. I've been in Douglas County. It was my second career. I started a little bit later, and the coordinator at the time who helped start the program, who is, again, an instructor of our program, Ms. Barnes, she had come to me and said, there's an opening in math, and you've been as a middle school person, you're the one writing the recommendations. We went to some of the informations, and I was really impressed. I've got to see students go from middle school through the whole program, and I came in 2011. I had the unique privilege of there are certain students that I got to teach 4 years in a row. And so during my time there, I've had students that I watched graduate from Douglas County High School that I taught in math in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. That was a hard year. It was very emotional in a happiness way. And so I started there in 2011. And yes, in 2016, I was Douglas County Douglas County High School Teacher of the Year, and I made the top 8 finalist. And I think that shows how IB is part of the school, not separate from the school, because that was all the teachers that contributed to that, and it still marks as one of my greatest honors. And then just last year, really the year before now, Devin Boatwright, I taught in 9th grade, and then I got to teach in 10th grade math. And, I've got to teach some of the most amazing students, fantastic. They've all gone on to do these great things, and you just never know when you're really normally first teaching them. You just assume they're all going to do great. But then sometimes there's that one student that just approaches things different. And I'd watch as I'd ask a question that no one should know the answer for, and I could tell she always knew. And so her and I had developed this relationship, and she was our Douglas County High School star student. And then she made it to the second round, and then the third, and then we're all going to state. And she won for the entire state, Douglas County star student, which included a panel of interviews with all of these people from the business community. It was very intensive, and I couldn't be more proud of her and to represent her for that. We also have, I've got to mention, I could go on and on about all the great things, but we have a teacher right now, when we're talking about the quality of instructors, that Mr. John Cunningham is our history and economics teacher. He was chosen by the International Baccalaureate program. They review curriculum every 7 years. And so in 3 or 4 years, history will make some changes. He was invited on the panel with 7 other people from the world to the Netherlands, is where he is today right now, is in the Netherlands,
Wow.
discussing with, when I looked real quickly, one was from the United Kingdom, I believe, and there was one other from the United States, and there were some other countries represented there, discussing what is the future of IB history. And he's part of that. We've had teachers grade IB exams, not our own students, but outside of them, which shows that they really understand those standards. And so that's been fantastic. And then the most important part of our quality instructors is they're part of DCHS. In my classroom and as the assistant principal, we start everything with, we are a Tiger first and IB second, because really it's about being a Tiger, and we wouldn't thrive anywhere else without the support and the great chemistry of all of our students at Douglas County High School.
Now, before we move into talking about who do you think would be the ideal candidate for this program, let's talk about the rigor of the program. What type of work is required of the students?
Well, you have to think about, so we have our PIB program, which is pre-international baccalaureate, and those are 9th and 10th graders. And then 11th and 12th grade, they take international baccalaureate. So in 9th and 10th grade, they are doing semester courses. So if you are ready they're taking PIB math, PIB English, PIB science, PIB social studies, and a foreign language. So they take 5 for a year, and then they take 5 in 10th grade, and they get to pick their electives. And then when they get to 11th and 12th grade, they are taking 7 IB courses. So that is probably the most important thing. Dr. Foster and I always have conversations about who the ideal candidate is, but we're not necessarily always looking for the smartest student in the school. We do want all of the smartest students in the school district to consider the International Baccalaureate program, but we also want those students who are willing to try. Some of them, they may be even middle of the road students, but if you're willing to try, then we want them as well. But of course, we're looking for students who are willing to put in the work academically, put in the work during school, after school, and be a part of our school. And that's not just go to school every day and go home, but be a part of the school. And I know you may have something to add to that as well.
And, we've talked about the rigor of the program. Who do you think is a good fit, and when should parents who think their kid is a good fit, when should they start making moves?
Oh, those are 2 great questions. Excellent. And I always, Mr. Weaver has been an amazing principal. He's been supportive of the program. He's been supportive of me personally, to be sure. And that's really helped our program grow and thrive. So I just want to reiterate that part of that, the right student, is one who wants to be at Douglas County High School, because that's the first requirement of being an IB student. And then with the rigor, again, Mr. Weaver and I've had this a lot. It is the motivation cannot be bought or sold. If they're not motivated, they're going to struggle throughout the program. But they don't have to be the very top of their class. Now, if they are, we've had several of those, like a Devin Boatwright, who got the star student for the state of Georgia, and we have a program that can take them even higher. But really, it's meant to take everyone where they were. If you're doing pretty well in middle school and you're having a really good time and you want to challenge yourself because you're looking ahead and you have these high career aspirations, we're going to get you there so that you can get to the college that'll help you take you further, and also really to get the work ethic and the skills and the understandings and the pedagogy that will take you there. And so when parents really should start thinking about it, I'll say 2 things. Don't feel bad if you've got an 8th grader right now and you've not done these. Foreign language is a huge part of our program. So in middle school, I highly encourage the students to take a foreign language if they're at a school where it's during their electives. I know that means they may not get 2 PEs. However, having that advantage in the middle school of the foreign language will really benefit them. It's not a requirement, but it is a benefit. So looking that in middle school, even 6th grade.
Principal Weaver here. Why do you think a parent who's evaluating all these programs, why do you think they should choose you if it's a good fit?
Well, I mean, there was one time when Douglas County High School the International Baccalaureate program was the only magnet. So that's their only choice. And of course, we got a lot of different students. But I like the fact that it's really 6 different options. But if you are looking for the rigor, the family-like atmosphere, and the possibilities after high school. So, I mean, we talked a lot about selecting the program. I know it's a lot for an eighth grade family to do. But after high school, when we talk about IB program, we talk about the majority of the students, if not all students, getting collegiate credit when they go to college and being prepared for college. I don't think there's a program that can do that, period. Because it is just like Dr. Foster said earlier, the same IB program that's in Africa, the same IB program in Australia, the same IB program in Europe is the same IB program we have at Douglas County High School. We spent a lot of time last school year visiting other IB schools in the metro area, and we came back. Well, we went looking for information, looking to just to see if we were doing the right thing, and we came back and we felt pretty good because our program was so diverse, just like Douglas County school system, and we are definitely appreciative of that. And so if you want a diverse program where your students can thrive academically, also extracurricularly, and be prepared for college, then IB is the program for you.
All right, and that's the final word. Again, that was Principal Andre Weaver, and we were joined today as well by Assistant Principal Grant Fossum. Thank you so much for joining us on Pursuit of Excellence. And of course, you can find all this information online at our website, dcssga.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to tune in next time.